to be free from floods. The overall progress of the ECRL project is currently at around 35.9% and is expected to be operational in January 2027.
In other news, Datuk Seri Anwar said the federal government has agreed to hand over the gas supply regulatory power in Sabah to the state government. He said the matter was agreed upon as part of the federal government's effort to honour the Malaysia Agreement 1963 MA63.
Kita pindahkan kuasa kawal selia bekalan gas yang dulunya di peringkat Petronas Persekutuan itu dipindahkan kepada Kerajaan Negeri Sabah. Ini telah berlaku untuk Sarawak dan sekarang dipindah kepada Kerajaan Negeri Sabah. Tentunya tarikh pelaksanaan itu menunggu perkenaan dari Yang Maha Mulia di-Pertuan Agong. Jadi proses itu saja. Tetapi kelulusan daripada Jemaah Menteri telah pun diperakui hari ini.
Datuk Seri Anwar said the sales and new deals concerning gas supply in Sabah can now be decided by the state government. Effective June 1st last year, the Sarawak government has full control of gas distribution activities in the state after the federal government granted an exemption to obtain permission under the Petroleum Development Act and a license under the Supply Control Act. On the MA63, the Prime Minister said there was also development on other issues. However, the details will be announced next month.
The Prime Minister on Wednesday also confirmed the abolishment of the National Recovery Council (NRC). Datuk Seri Anwar said the decision was made because there were overlapping responsibilities, besides positions that were created to meet the needs at that time following the devastating COVID-19 pandemic.
Pemulihan negara dibatalkan. Itu pun satu yang pertindihan juga. Jawatan yang diletakkan untuk memenuhi keperluan ketika itu.
The NRC was established on July 21st, 2021 and was previously led by former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. Its main objective was to ensure the National Recovery Plan could be achieved for the well-being of Malaysians following the COVID-19 pandemic. In a related development, Datuk Seri Anwar said the government will also examine the proposal to dissolve the National Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption Centre, GIACC. He said of the GIACC's many functions, several were found to overlap with that of enforcement agencies, namely the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, and the Royal Malaysia Police. Meanwhile, the reappointment of former Machang Member of Parliament, Datuk Ahmad Jazlan, as the Felkra chairman, as announced by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi on December 16th, has been put on hold. Meanwhile, the large-scale New Year's Eve celebration at Dataran Merdeka has been called off due to the floods. The decision was made during the cabinet meeting on Wednesday.
Oleh kerana keadaan banjir dan kesusahan rakyat, kita putuskan supaya sambutan besar-besaran ambang tahun baru 31 Disember di Dataran Merdeka ini dibatalkan.
Now, the Dewan Negara has passed the Consolidated Fund Expenditure on Account Bill 2022 for Civil Service Expenditure. The bill, involving a total of 107.72 billion ringgit, was approved with a majority voice vote.
Dubbed the mini-budget, the bill was tabled by Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan. He explained that the temporary operating budget is for the first 6 months of 2023 until the federal budget or Budget 2023 is passed, expected to be in February or March next year.
Anggaran perbelanjaan mengurus ini antaranya merangkumi bayaran gaji pada penjawat awam, utiliti, biasiswa, bantuan kebajikan rakyat serta perkhidmatan pendidikan dan kesihatan. Oleh hal yang demikian, rang undang-undang ini amat mustahak untuk diluluskan bagi memastikan kelangsungan perkhidmatan kerajaan kepada rakyat bagi tahun hadapan.
No MPs debated on the bill. Instead, Dewan Negara President Tan Sri Rais Yatim gave the opportunity to 6 senators to speak on the provision.
Masalahnya ialah bahawa rang undang-undang ini dibacakan kali yang ketiga dan diluluskan sekarang. Ahli-ahli yang bersetuju kata bersetuju. Yang tidak bersetuju kata tidak. Tiada. Lebih suara yang bersetuju.
The first part of the bill was tabled by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim in the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday and was passed without debate.
The government will introduce a unity package for prepaid mobile internet plan at half the price and triple the speed, with the package set to hit the market next February. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fazil said the implementation of the package would involve 5 telecommunication service providers, namely Celcom Digi, Maxis, U-Mobile, Telekom Malaysia TM and YTL Communications.
Pakej perpaduan ini merupakan pakej prabayar internet mudah alih yang ditawarkan pada harga RM30 dengan data 30 GB untuk tempoh 6 bulan khusus kepada golongan belia, kumpulan B40, warga emas, OKU dan veteran.
Speaking at a press conference after conducting a survey of the Communications and Digital Ministry's flood disaster assistance preparations in Putrajaya on Wednesday, Fahmi said users will also enjoy a 50% savings compared to the existing package, which is from RM10 per month to RM5 per month. He added that this was a basic package and that the service providers are allowed to offer added value in the package. The minister pointed out that the introduction of the package was in line with the unity government's desire to reduce the cost of living and ensure comprehensive digital connectivity for Malaysians. Women turned away from Afghan universities after Taliban ban. News from the foreign front when we return. From entering university campuses on Wednesday, a day after the nation's Taliban rulers banned higher education for women nationwide. The decision to suspend women from universities came late Tuesday in a tense announcement from the Higher Education Minister, Neda Muhammad Nadim. Following the ban, Washington has condemned the decision in the strongest terms, while United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said that he was deeply alarmed. The Secretary-General reiterated that the denial of education not only violates the equal rights of women and girls, but will have a devastating impact on the country's future. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation, or OIC, also denounced the ban, saying it was seriously denting the credibility of the government. In the US, at least 2 people were killed after a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck the extreme northern coast of California on Tuesday. According to officials, both fatalities resulted from medical emergencies during and after the earthquake, while 11 other people were reported injured. The tremor, which struck at 2:30 a.m. local time and was followed by about 80 aftershocks, was centered about 350 kilometers north of San Francisco, offshore of Humboldt County. It was reported that more than 70,000 homes and businesses countrywide have been left without power, including 2 hospitals that are running on generators. Authorities said about 24 houses were also heavily damaged and had to be red tagged and declared unsafe for habitation. The trembler also set off one structure fire, which was quickly extinguished and caused 2 other buildings to collapse. Still in the U.S., law enforcement had seized more than enough fentanyl to kill all Americans in 2022, underscoring the deep threat of the deadly man-made opioid. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, it had captured 50.6 million fake prescription pills laced with fentanyl and 4,500 kilograms of fentanyl powder during the year, calling it the equivalent of more than 379 million potentially deadly doses. Fentanyl, which cost only a fraction of overdose deaths a decade ago, is now the deadliest drug threat facing the U.S. The drug is a highly addictive man-made opioid that is 50 times more potent than heroin, with just 2 milligrams of fentanyl is considered a potentially deadly dose. It was a major reason for the more than 107,000 overdose deaths across the country from July last year to June this year. On to sports. Malaysia opened a good start in the AFF Championship 2022 as they beat Myanmar 1-0 in Group B on Wednesday at the Tawana Stadium in Yangon.
It wasn't a smooth ride for Malaysia as the hosts took charge of the proceedings with their fast and short passes. Myanmar sounded an early warning when midfielder Luin Mo Aung's long-range attempt in the 8th minute sailed just wide. With both teams tied at love-all at half-time, Harimau Malaya coach Kim Pangon decided to bring on Lee Tuck to replace Darren Lock after the break and it did not take long for the substitute to make an impact. Using his speed to maximum impact, Lee Tak intercepted a pass and relayed it to Muhammad Safawi, who then gave a through pass to Muhammad Faisal Halim to coolly let fly a grounder past Myanmar goalkeeper in the 52nd minute. Antoine Hay's side had a precious chance to level the score after they were awarded a penalty kick in the full-time mark. However, Win Naingtun's penalty shot was saved by Ahmad Shihan Hazmi. The national team will now take on Laos at the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil on Saturday before travelling to Hanoi to face Vietnam on December 27 and complete their Group B fixtures against Singapore back in Bukit Jalil on January 3rd.
In another match, Vietnam stood on top of Group B after a 6-0 shutout win over Laos on Wednesday in Vientiane, Laos.
Nguyen Tien Lin's goal in the 15th minute and Doran Dong's goal in the 43rd minute helped the two-times champions to take the lead in the first half. The visitors sealed the victory with 4 more goals in the second half, thanks to the contributions from Ho Tan Thai, Duan Van Hao, Nguyen Van Thuan and Vu Van Tan. The result means Park Hang-seo's Chargers rank the top in Group B with 3 points and 5 goal difference advantages. Laos will host Singapore at the same field on Tuesday.
Still to come, fortune teller claims trial to cheating over $500,000. Thanks for staying with us. The search and rescue operation at the landslide site has been temporarily halted on Wednesday due to continuous rain. Hulu Selangor OCPD Superintendent Sufyan Abdullah confirmed that matter, adding that search operations are dependent on weather conditions and the safety level. In the meantime, the body of a man was found at the landslide site, bringing the death toll to 26, with 7 others still missing.
Selangor Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director Hafisha Muhammad Noor said the body of the man was found at 11:16 a.m. in Sector B of the area, near the Farm View camp, buried under 4.5-meter debris.
Yang kita suspek kat situ ada satu lelaki bersama dengan 3 ekor anjing dia. So hari ni kita dah jumpa dia berpelukan dengan 1 ekor anjing dan 1 lagi anjing yang berada di sekitar dia lah. Cuma 1 lagi kita tak jumpa lagi.
He said it was believed that the man was camping at Sector A near Hillview and was washed away by the landslide to Sector B near Farm View. Authorities also believe that there were no more victims in Sector B and will focus the search on Sectors C and A. Hafisham said the search and rescue team would dig deeper to find the missing victims, especially after the 25th victim, a girl, was found buried under 17 meters of debris in Sector C the day before. The body of the girl, aged between 5 and 7, was discovered at 11:15 p.m., shortly before the 5th day of the SAR operation was called off at 12 midnight on Tuesday.
And lastly, in Pulau Pinang, a fortune teller claimed trial at the Bukit Mertajam Magistrates Court with cheating a civil servant of 516,450 ringgit. 24-year-old Ann Prakash, an Indian national, had allegedly cheated a 59-year-old assistant executive officer of a government agency by deceiving her into believing that he could cure diseases and predict the future.
He's accused of committing the offence at Bandar Perda between March 23rd and October 18th. He was charged under Section 420 of the Penal Code and can be jailed for not less than a year and not more than 10 years, as well as whipping and fine if convicted. Magistrate Muhammad Harith Muhammad Mazlan set bail at 8,000 ringgit with 2 local sureties and ordered that the accused's passport to be handed over to the court until the disposal of the case. The accused also has to report himself every 2 weeks on every Monday to the investigating officer. January 31st has been fixed for mention of the case.
Buenos Aires has been in party mood since the dramatic World Cup victory over France in Sunday's final in Qatar. Millions of ecstatic Argentines flooded onto the streets trying to catch a glimpse of their returning champions, bringing the open-top bus parade to a standstill and forcing players to get on a helicopter to keep on with the celebrations. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Muhammed, Ahmad Hamdan. Thank you for watching and stay safe.
Buletin.